Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and in this video, I'll be profiling an article from BusinessInsider.com titled, U.S. Millennial Women Are Now More Likely to Die in Their Late 20s and Early 30s than any other generation since World War II, report says. And hey, this is the fruits of the labor of living under the wicked, the biblical wicked being the Edomites, known as these so-called white people today. Because ever since these Edomites came into this little season of their final rulership, beginning with the Renaissance, they've turned this world completely upside down and do everything clean contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High in the scriptures, which is the only right way to govern life. You've got gender roles reversed and upside down, the environment in a state of decay. The list goes on. And as we're reading this article, hey, these women, ever since feminism and liberty and so-called equality to do what a man does, they've just completely ruined themselves. And you can see that the relationships between men and women in 2023 is just completely degraded. What have you got? MGTOW, men going their own way. You've got the so-called passport bros. You've got women being complete whores out here, going from man to man to man, being in so-called open relationships, demanding open relationships. You've got men being cucks and simps out here. The list goes on and on. We can see that the so-called Western world under Esau Edom, which is the main power structure right now, is rupturing and cracking at every level. And if this devil was allowed to rule indefinitely and really spread, and because he has been spreading this poison through his geopolitics, his military, and his media to these different countries, if he was allowed to rule indefinitely and this planet was completely engulfed in this madness, there would be nothing left. But as it says in Matthew chapter 24, and except those days should be shortened, no flesh would be saved. The Most High has set bounds which this Edomite cannot pass, and he's just about reached them. And once he's taken out of power, and the rightful rulers of the planet, the children of Israel, known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today, beginning with the elect of the nation of Israel, and at the head of that, Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi, are back in rulership, governing in the kingdom of heaven. This planet is going to be back in order. Everything's going to be back in order and go to being a paradise. But before we get into this article, let's go into some precepts. This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous, the Israelites, governing under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi in the scriptures, are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of in Job chapter 9, verse 24, the border of wickedness in Malachi 1, verse 4, the Edomites, so-called white people, beareth rule, the people mourn. As we've seen that article, people, and in this case, women are mourning out here. High suicide rates, high instances of getting put to death in domestic disputes, maternal mortalities, etc., etc. And also when you look at things statistically, women, they've upticked in drinking and using drugs and depression on psycho meds and stuff like that, antidepressants, the list goes on and on. Everything and everybody is just in a state of decay under the wicked bearing rule. This is Isaiah chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. And when you go into that word languisheth in the Strongs, it's G535, Amal, which I've gone into in many videos before. But when you go to the outline of biblical usage, it says to grow weak or feeble, to languish, which this earth has languished and grown weak and feeble under the rulership of the wicked. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty or the proud people of the earth do languish or grow feeble and weak as well. Because what? You've got the ultimate prideful people in power, Esau, Edom, running this planet like Dennis the Menace, and then these other people following after Esau's example, proud as well and being destroyed mentally, physically, and spiritually as well. Verse 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant, doing everything clean contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, promoting abominable foods that you're not supposed to eat, not giving the land Sabbath, and destroying the gender roles. If a man is not a man, a woman is not a woman. It's oppression for a woman to be a mother and, a dutiful wife, etc., etc. And we can see the fruits of that labor because, contrary to popular belief, everything isn't just how you feel or hearsay or roles set up for control. They were preordained from the beginning by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to make everything work in order. And that involves you women being subservient to the man and a dutiful wife and mother, which is a beautiful thing. A mother and a wife, in her right mind, in her respective role, is a very, critical thing to a society because the woman following after the lead of her man, which only true man is a man of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, following the laws, statutes, and commandments. A woman following after the lead of her man does takes care of her man, takes care of the household, and, brings up the children under the ways of the father. And what does that do? Keep everything working in perfect order. The family is the backbone to any society. And we can see what happens when you destroy the family, when you have everybody out here just, looking at other people as a come up and a paycheck. You get a society of lonely, drug addicted, alcoholic narcissists. But hey, who can we thank for that? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And hey, perfect example. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden with Eve and the serpent. And Eve didn't eat an apple from a talking snake. It's all metaphors and symbolism. That serpent was a man of a nation. And what nation was that? The wicked back then. Before they were known as the Edomites, they were the sons of the wicked, the serpent. And then through the reincarnation, they came back as Cain. And then through the reincarnation, they came back as the Edomites. So Adam and Eve were the sons and the daughters of God, who through the reincarnation came back as Abel, who was killed by Cain, then Seth, all the way down to Abraham, then Isaac, then Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel. And what did the serpent do to Eve back then? Beguiled her with that fruit, which is speaking of different philosophies, of the different heathen nations, not following after the laws, statutes, and commandments. What did the serpent tell Eve? That if ye eat of this fruit, these different philosophies, ye shall know good and evil and become as a god. And what does feminism say? You're equal to a man. You can actually be over a man. And what a lot of these women think they're goddesses. And just like that led to the fall of the sons of God in the Garden of Eden, what do we see with feminism? It's led to the fall of society. And hey, who's been the main target of feminism? You Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, especially you so-called Negroes, specifically the tribe of Judah, the head tribe. And who's been the face of feminism? Hey, that so-called black woman. Just like Eve was beguiled in the garden, Eve
was beguiled today by that serpent Esau Edom, and what? Kicked the man out of the household, went to daddy government for child support, Section 8, all these different benefits, got herself a career. But what? The so-called black community is a bunch of single-parent households raising thugs and moes and whores, completely destroyed. This is Psalms chapter 82, verses 4 to 5. Deliver the poor and needy, you Israelites. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked, the Edomites. Salakia. Which when you read in Psalms chapter 10, what does it say about the wicked? He's like a roaring lion, hey, in the corners of the villages, looking to devour the poor in what? His net, his snares, and his traps. Which this whole society under Esau Edom is meant to trap up you Israelites and take you away from your power. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course, because they have transgressed the laws, broken the everlasting covenants and the ordinances. These Edomites ruling the planet, completely contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments. Hence, why the people are mourning under the rulership of the wicked. This is Jeremiah 31, verse 22. And hey, I was going to, get one or two precepts and go into that article and then come back to these, but the Spirit's rolling. Hey, this is what happens when the earth is out of course. Hey, when they walk on in darkness and turn everything upside down. Jeremiah 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? Speaking of the nation of Israel. For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass. Hey, go over, be above a man. And what does that sound like? Feminism, women judges, women lawyers, so-called women CEOs, women managers on the job, strong, independent boss bitches out here. But on the flip side of that, what do you see? An uptick in lonely, single women, used up, alcoholics, drug addicts, single mothers, society completely ruined. And then the men, on the other hand, a lot of men have been raised in single parent households. So what? They have low confidence. A lot of them have mode tendencies just completely through. Don't know what it's like to, see a strong fatherly figure and be a leader. Then you've got these different movements that are, so-called giving men their confidence back. And in the West, what have a lot of men seen? That a lot of these women in the West are just completely irredeemable. So what? They're going their own way and going to countries that haven't been completely infected by, this feminist idea, the passport bros. But let's go to see, according to the scriptures, according to the truth, what the role of a woman is for everything to work in tandem, in perfection, in beauty. Genesis 3:16, unto the woman, speaking of Eve, hey, after she ate of that fruit of those philosophies and brought it back to Adam, which began, the fall of the sons of God, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. And we can see that Eve, which, Eve means the mother, I think the mother of life, or the mother of all living. Hey, for Eve's transgression, to all you women to this very day, what do you have? Labor pains, contractions. You're not like other animals out here who, when they give birth, it's a painless, process. When you women have birth, it's a very painful, so-called traumatic process. In sorrow, thou shalt bring forth children. And here's the point. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And when you go into what the word woman means, it means what? A servant. So a woman is desire is to her husband, and he shall rule over her. As it says in Corinthians, the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the man is Yahushai, and the head of Yahushai is the Most High. Everything in perfect order. The woman underneath the man being a dutiful mother and a wife, and the man being the leader, the head of the household, a strong family structure, a strong society, community, a kingdom. But when you throw a monkey wrench in everything, here we have what we have. And first and foremost, well, shit, we're only speaking to you Israelite women out here because you other heathen women have no chance of Jacob's trouble. For you Israelite women, that have come across the truth, being sincere and trying to come right, hey, there's going to be no boss babes getting beamed up on the chariots. It's going to be, women following after the ways of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. Hey, under the guidance of an Israelite man that are going to make it onto the chariots. Jesus isn't your husband in this case, because again, what does it say in Corinthians? The head of the woman is the man, then the head of the man is Yahushai. This is 1 Timothy 2:15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety, not being an independent, strong alcoholic out here hopping from man to man. But I will say this to you sincere sisters out there. Hey, don't try to force the course of the rivers. If you don't have a man of the Lord with you right now, hey, just keep staying diligent and doing what you can. And the Most High, hey, will provide for you just like he's going to provide for his men. But without further ado, let's get back to this article. Again, U.S. millennial women are now more likely to die in their late 20s and early 30s than any generation since World War II. Oh, and also I want to say to you, sisters out there who woke up into the truth and you were with a man and he may not believe or be in the truth, you can't leave that man. You got to stay with that man and be a dutiful wife, mother, a wife unto him and a mother unto his children. And hey, he can be saved through your, righteousness, as it says. And I believe it's Romans chapter 7. And the same, for a brother out there who's got a woman and, she may not believe in the truth, but she's, pleasant to dwell with. If she's not giving you a hard time, trying to be, accommodating to your needs, hey, then, you can't put that woman away. Stay with that woman. And hey, through your righteousness, she will be saved. Well, she can be saved because at the end of the day, it's through the will of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. But what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought real quick. But yeah, oh yeah, if your woman, she's cool to dwell with and she may not believe fully in what you believe in, hey, best believe if she's still with you during Jacob's trouble and sees that Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai is dealing with you, she's going to believe real quick. Everything is about to be put back in its right order. But between here and the kingdom, a lot of you disobedient Israelite women, a lot of you disobedient Israelite men are going to get put to death in horrific mass numbers. But let's get into this article. U.S. millennial women saw their well-being decline of first in modern times per nonprofit PRB. Homicide, maternal mortality, and suicide rates have all increased for women aged 25 to 34. Salakia. The sudden reversal in progress for young women's safety comes despite an improved economic status. For decades, young women in the U.S. saw sharp progress in their health and safety with each passing generation, but that momentum has now reversed for millennials. That's according to a November 30th report published by the Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit Population Reference Bureau, which studied the well-being of women aged 25 to 34 from each generation of Americans. It found that women born between 1981 and 1999, Salakia, widely classified as millennials, have seen the first drop in well-being since the silent generation as they live through young adulthood. Women today are more likely to die during their late 20s and early 30s than at any other point in the previous 3 generations, said the report. And the reason you're seeing all these negatives increase is because we're living at the very end of Esau Edom's rulership. So his society is collapsing at all levels. His lies are collapsing at all levels. And the true consequences of not following after Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in the way of the scriptures are being seen in full force. Maternal mortality, suicide, and homicide rates soar. The death rate has risen in parallel with a startling increase in maternal mortality rates among women aged 25 to 34, with 30.4 deaths due to pregnancy complications out of 100,000 births for millennials, the report said. That's compared to 21 deaths per 100,000 births for the silent generation, or women who were born during and before World War II, and 7.5 for baby boomers and 9.2 for Generation X when they were aged 25 to 34. The report acknowledged that part of the surge might be due to better data collection in recent years, but it also noted that after all U.S. states implemented a new system in 2019, pregnancy deaths continued to rise sharply. Millennial women are also the first in the last century to experience rising suicide rates. And I can speak from experience. Damn near every woman I've known just about dealt with or what had depression. They were on antidepressants. They were just, fucked up in the head. And what's that come from? Dealing with multiple men. Because when you deal with a man and when he puts his seed in you, any kind of form, what you take on that man's spirit. So a lot of these women have multiple spirits in them, a bunch of different men's spirits and seeds fighting in her, which makes her schizophrenic. Millennial women are also the first in the last century to experience rising suicide rates, with 7 suicides among 100,000 women aged 25 to 34, the report said. And if this society were allowed to continue, those numbers would only increase. You're seeing a lot of videos come on the internet now of women regretting their past life choices because what? They're past their prime. Men aren't looking at them anymore. They're past their childbearing age and they're just lonely, but they've got their career. They go to a job where barely anybody knows their name or gives a fuck about them. Baby boomer and Gen X women, meanwhile, saw a respective 6 and 4.4 suicides per 100,000 women when they were aged 25 to 34. Now listen to this. While so-called white, Edomite millennial women saw suicide rates decline, and Esau likes to fudge the numbers. Those rates might have declined because what? There are less and less Edomites out here from them killing themselves, being drug addicts, strung out, and less of them being born, so there's less statistics to get. While Edomite millennial women saw suicide rates decline, young so-called black, American Indian, so what? You so-called Judites, so-called Gadites, or Alaskan Native, mixed race, which you are what your father is. There is no mixed race out here. And his so-called Hispanic, and you other part of the Northern Kingdom, you so-called Latino women experienced increases. Your increase in wickedness has increased these curses upon you. Statistics for women of other ethnicities were not specifically presented. And homicide rates for millennial women rose to 4.5 deaths per 100,000 women aged 25 to 34, compared to 4.3 deaths for Gen X women when they were the same age, according to PRB. Violent deaths among young women actually fell to 3.3 per 100,000 people in 2017, when PRB issued its last index. But statistics now show that rates swelled so quickly in the last 6 years that it surpassed that of Gen X, per the report. And down here in New Orleans, damn near every other day, there's a news article coming out showing you so-called black women getting put to death out here. Hey, these homicide rates are going to increase. A lot of men out here getting sick of dealing with you women, especially if you put them on child support. They have a so-called loving family in their mind with you, and you break that up. You cheat on them. You take them to the cleaners. A lot of these men ain't taking it anymore and taking matters into their own hands. And then what? You've got these men out here that just aren't getting any play at all and have that resentment towards women. So they're going to lay hands on them and handle business. Hey, do what is right in their own eyes. And this is only going to increase as society increases its collapse. This is Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 30. And, first and foremost, this is talking about the nation of Israel as a whole, looking at these other heathen nations as their lovers, but what? Getting rebuked, getting destroyed for it. But it can also go into you women. What? You look outside of your nation of men, outside of your power, for help. Hey, you go from man to man, and what? You get rebuked for it. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clotheth thyself with crimson, put on all these scanty outfits, the yoga pants that give you a wedgie, the tight mini skirts, the booty shorts. Though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, jewelry, the piercings, that septum piercing, though thou rentest thy face with painting, putting on all that fake up, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Hey, she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Thy lovers will despise thee. They will seek thy life. All these men you fucked over, hey, a lot of them got receipts on you, and they're just waiting for the moment to lay hands on you. And then you got a lot of these pent up, rambunctious, anxious men out here just waiting to get the go-ahead, hey, to lay down that lumber, if you know what I mean. As the elder brother Malcolm in Chicago always says, there's going to come a point where the cock carousel is going to ride you. That's going to happen. What's happening right now, but it's only going to increase as society continues to collapse, and we're in a full state of chaos and pandemonium out here during Jacob's trouble. But that's it with that article, and I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 32, verses 9 to 11, because as we get closer to the end, and Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai beginning to bring his judgment, all these goodies, all these protections that you women had in society are going to be taken away. And it's just going to be you and your thoughts during Jacob's trouble and those judgments coming your way. This is Isaiah 32, verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. And we're speaking to you Israelite women, because y'all are the only ones that have any chance to be saved. As for you heathen women, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it how you live. And hey, a lot of you Israelite women are gonna get it how you live too. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. They got the high paying jobs, got the child support, the Section 8, the WIC, 911. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. Hey, talk to a man any way you want. Treat a man any way you want. Hey, going out on a Friday and Saturday night, getting pissy drunk, walking down a dark street thinking nothing's going to happen. For the vintage shall fail. The job, the government benefits, Esau Edom playing daddy. The gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins, being in a state of mourning. And hey, a lot of you women are going to have a very, I wouldn't even say tragic, because a lot of y'all deserve what's coming your way, but you're going to have a very dark, hey, terrible ending coming your way. And that's all she wrote. But to you sincere, sisters out there, hey, continue doing what you're doing, taking yourselves out of the ways of this world, that ways of feminism, hey, and coming back to the ways of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, like the men of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai are doing. And if you're of that elect number, the Most High will provide for you. You will make it. But that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath sisters were edified. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.